The Incompetent Way to Make Money in Crossout, number 16. Reading the DevBlogs and the news. Cast your mind back through the midst of time, well, 3 weeks ago, when Crossout announced that the adventure begins. There's a new player versus enemies mode coming in the near future. It's a DevBlog. They're saying what they intend to change in the game. And remember, when the game changes, the market changes, and when the market changes, there's opportunity for profit. Let's read the DevBlog. Oh, it's a new game called Adventure. Yes, many players versus enemies, 4 people, blah 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 stuff, things. Ooh, new guns, shiny new guns. Well, not the M37 Piercer. You could make that in the Knight Rider event. But M39 Imp and M38 Fidget, new guns. When there's new guns, when they first come out, there's a big demand for them and very little supply. And when there's big demand and little supply, prices go up hugely. Now, what do we need to make these guns? Oh, you need a workbench engineer, yeah, blah 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 blah, and you need stuff. Where did it say? Did it say stuff there? No, it didn't say what you needed. Didn't mention shells. But it's a DevBlog. It's very vague, but it alerts us that there's a change coming, so we must keep our eyes out. Then, a little while later, came update 0.10.0 on the 29th of December. The adventure begins! New adventure mode. Yes, I can play the new... No, you can't play the new adventure mode unless, well, you... where's it gone? All the way down the bottom in the small... There it is. In the small print. Gaining access to closed testing. No, it's early access. It really is. It's early access. You're charging people to get in early. So from the 29th you could buy this pack and get into the adventure begins, the adventure, the new PvE mode, but you can't make where's it say it? Back at the top, I think. There. So in this new mode you can earn a new resource, and with the new resource you can make new weapons. Aha! Here's what we were looking for. Tells us what we need to do to make these things. So that's why people are buying early access. Maybe they're really keen for the adventure, or maybe they just want to earn all the shells, so they're ready to make the Piercer and the Imp and the Fidget as soon as open access comes, because that's when you'll be able to make the new items. Right. Okay, so it is coming. We know what we can make, and oh, what's this? Tells us what we need to make these new guns. Now, I'm not that keen on paying for early access, so I haven't. So I'm going to be at a disadvantage when open access comes and we can start making the guns. I'll be behind the curve, so I probably won't make the guns immediately in order to sell them. What I will do is I will stock up on all these parts, on the cords, the Avia boosters, carjacks, and then the jawbreakers and the pilgrims. Then for the Imp, where is it? The Fidget and the Aurora and the Oppressor. I'll stock up on these items, and then when open access comes, they'll be in high demand, and people won't be able to make them fast enough. So I'll be there saying, oh, here you are, you can buy this at a vastly increased price over normal. Hooray, I'm making a huge profit. Thank you very much. Ka-ching. So from the 29th, I've known to start stockpiling these parts. And how much of a jump up in prices they're going to be, that is hard to tell. I mean, last time there was new weapons that you could make. That was the Knight Rider event, but most of them had been seen before. The new ones weren't well received immediately, so the prices didn't jump a huge amount, but they still went up. And if we look at these parts, say the cord, where's the 29th? Here we go. There's the 29th, and the price goes up. by 20%. Okay, it's only cents, but it is just a chord. If you don't have many coins to start with, maybe you just want to stock up on the Accords and the Avias and the Carjacks, because you can't afford the Jawbreakers and the Pilgrims, or let alone the Auroras and the Oppressors. Avia booster, yep, that went up. Well, it's calmed down again, but it went up. Carjack, didn't do much. Let's gloss over that. Jawbreaker, that went up, and it stayed up. Oh, the Avia booster actually. 29th was a Friday, wasn't it? Friday's race day. So you can see there. Is that Friday? Yeah, there's the Friday. Friday. So you can see there's a jump up in price, increase in demand on race day, because everyone wants boosters in their race cars. It's been sat in the garage in the blueprints for 6 days, and now you want to make it, but you find, oh, I've used up my Avia boosters. Right, I better buy some. Ka-chink, ka-chink, ka-chink. But on this 29th, when we found out what we need to make, and we need Avia boosters, the increase was larger and is more sustained. So yes, Avia boosters. We've seen Jawbreaker, Pilgrim. That's gone up as well. That's gone. Where's the 28th, 29th? There we go. So that's gone from 34 to 41, 6 in 40, so 15%. Right, and remember, this is just, we're hearing about what we need. We can't actually use it yet. The jump when we can actually use them, everybody can use these things to make the new weapons, that price increase is going to be bigger. Then there's the Aurora, there's 29th. Well, that is a significant jump, like 329 to 390. So that's 60 odd over 640. No, jumpy, well, not huge actually, 15-ish% there. And see what's happened here. Yeah, not quite sure what happened here, but I did sell an oppressor on Friday because I saw the price spike. When I say spike, it was up in like 450. Problem is with Crossout DB is it starts averaging. So if we compress it, there you go. You can see there's a very short time when it really spiked, and I managed to sell in there. Lucky old me. But that's a different video. This is all about reading the dev blogs and the news and working out what's going to happen to the game, and those changes in the game will increase or decrease demand for certain parts, and when demand outstrips supply, the price goes rocketing up. So me and you, are going to be prepared, aren't we? We're going to spend the next week or two, however long it is, before Adventure comes to the masses, leaves early access and it comes to the masses and we can start making. We're going to start stocking up on whatever we can fit in to our storage, on what we can afford in the Cords, the Avias, the Carjacks, the Jawbreakers, the Pilgrims, the Auroras and the Oppressors. Not so much in I wouldn't stock so much up in the scrap metal and the copper and the wires and the plastic and the electronics, because you can get those for engineer badges, and that seems to have softened the demand. Last Night Rider event, there was no noticeable spike in the resource cost of scrap metal and copper and all the rest of it, because people were just exchanging their engineers tokens for electronics when they needed them, rather than look for them on the market, and so there's no extra demand, so the price didn't go up. Only if there's a long sustained demand for electronics is the price going to start going up, because people will run out of electronics, engineer badges, and then they'll start buying electronics. Now, you don't need to look at the dev blog and the news item that I showed you before anymore, because the developers have made the unusual step of putting the ingredient lists in the game even before we can use them. If you go to engineers, into the engineer CNC machine, you can see there it is, the M37 piercer. You can see the ingredients, what you need to make it, although you can't make it yet. They're not allowing us to make anything until they open up the adventure story to everybody, not just early access. And then there's also the fidget, and where is it? The imp. Remember, when you're stocking up on items, not only do you want to stock up on auroras and oppressors, you want to stock up on the parts that are used to make the oppressor as well. But even while you're looking at this, it's probably still a good idea to keep half an eye on the news and the dev blogs in case anything changes. And it's the news and the dev blogs that tell you what's going to happen, change in the game, and therefore what's going to change in the market prices. And knowing what the market prices are going to do before everybody else, that's where the profit is. Warning! Dangerously Incompetent's economic prognostications have been wrong before. Investments may go up as well as down.